Durag Wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Y2K 19.06.25. Dear Mr. Boteach, I refuse to call him Rabbi. I don't recognize that shit. We Jews never really achieved the full borders of Israel according to the Bible, from the Nile to the Euphrates, because we were at each other's throats, especially after the death of Solomon, and after we refused to follow the commands of the men who wrote the Bible to murder every man, woman, child of the Canaanite pagan tribes. A genocide, if you will. Because whether you like it or not, the Bible is our source for wonderful concepts such as genocide, and is our source for the equally disgusting concept of manifest destiny. This was what justified white Europeans coming to the New World and essentially invading the lives of North American Indians. And of course South American Indians too. Eventually, under fascist racists such as Andrew Jackson, America would round up and murder American Indians and send survivors to none other than concentration camps. We revived the use of concentration camps for Japanese citizens during the Second World War, and now under the Nazi birther bastard racist hair monster Trump, we have concentration camps once again, this time for migrants. Furthermore, there are three types of concentration camps. Concentration detention camps, in which Japanese Americans suffered and in which migrants now suffer. And of course the Nazis helped come up with the idea of concentration forced labor camps, and of course concentration forced labor extermination camps. On the day the Trump bastard was flushed into our lives, Nazi scum were filmed giving the Hitler salute and yelling, "Hail Trump." And Trump has called Nazis on the other side nice people. And members of the Proud Boys and other white supremacists routinely show up to Trump rallies, and he does absolutely nothing to discourage this. So, Mr. Boteach, I am not surprised by what this son of a bitch is doing to our country. Ask the 11 dead Jews in Pittsburgh how they feel about Nazi Trump. Honestly, Mr. Boteach, although I am an atheist, I pray to the goddess daily that Trump has a massive heart attack or stroke and dies. I pray that at the same time, Mike, quote, "I'm a Christian first and an American second," unquote, Pence goes down in a plane crash so that Nancy Pelosi would become president of our country. And if that sounds upsetting to you, just imagine how I felt when I saw your disgusting, disingenuous, hypocritical ad in the New York Times. It sure must take a lot of Benjamins to afford an ad like that. I happen to believe in the concept of tzedakah, but would never give any to you or to any fundamentalist Lubavitcher group because you allow Nazi sympathizers, Jared Kushner and his douchebag wife, Ivanka, to pray in one of the Chabad synagogues in Washington, D.C. I totally reject you, your ad, and what the lie you made behind it. We'll get to that in a minute. You and the rabbinate and the clergy in general have absolutely no say over how I live my life. I reject all the clergy, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, outright, because of the way you con people into taking more crap because you keep promising them a blissful afterlife. So while we waste away the hours waiting for a redeemer that will never come, we neglect this world for another that you or me or anyone else will never ever see. How does someone like you get enough money to place an ad like you did? If I was America's rabbi, like you say you are, I would have given all that money to the poor, the destitute, the sick, the helpless, and the oppressed. You, on the other hand, decide to use your money to help Nazi Trump and his Fourth Reich beat the Democrats in Y2K20. Nazis built concentration camps. Trump is a Nazi. Nazis separate families, including children, from their parents. Trump is a Nazi. And like the maggot said, if I wanted, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. The concentration detention camps that Adolf Trumpler built are just the beginning. Gee, Mr. Boteach, why don't we make these migrants work while we hold them? And while we are at it, let's start exterminating them and those who support them. Come on! Come to think of it, Mr. Boteach, let's round up all of Trump's enemies and send them to a brand new 21st century high-tech extermination camp like they show on Amazon's series The Man in the High Castle. We can build something that we call a migrant luxury hotel. We get them all in there, and once they're in their rooms, we lock the doors, lock the windows, and turn on the gas. If you are a liberal, Mr. Boteach, I would be more inclined to give you a pass on your ad. But if you voted for Trump in Y2K16, your ad is just a disingenuous way to get Jews to vote for Trump and against Democrats. I hate to tell you that I would vote for Omar and Cortez for president and vice president because I do not want to make the country of Israel safer just so we can have fascism, theocracy, and religious extremism in the USA. Here are some questions for you. If you answer yes to any of these, you are a dangerous hypocrite and traitor to the Jewish people and to the USA. 1. Is it okay with you that a coal lobbyist runs our EPA? 2. Is it okay with you that an oil lobbyist runs our Interior Department? 3. Do you believe it is okay that the private school lobbyist runs our Education Department? 4. Was it okay with you that bitch McDumbbell stole a Supreme Court seat from President Obama? 5. Do you approve of the rapist Kavanaugh on our Supreme Court? 6. Do you believe there is no separation of church, tribal law, and state? 7. Do you believe that any adult can't marry another adult regardless of what their sex is? 8. Do you believe that the press is the enemy of the people? 9. Is it okay by you for a president to grab women by their genitals? 10. People are being concentrated at our southern border in concentration detention camps. Children are being separated from their parents. The trauma will ruin countless young lives. Do you support these camps? Do you support separating children from their parents? 11. Did you vote for Trump in Y2K16? 12. Are you a registered Republican? If you answered yes to any of these questions, your expensive full-page ad is just an exercise in partisan hypocrisy. This Jew is voting Democratic all the way down the line, no matter who it is. I promise. When I think about how miserable life on this planet is, I think about the rich fiends who give no tzedakah, no charity, and do not want to be regulated. Racist, Nazi, fascist leaders like Adolf Hitler, Trump, and religious extremist morons like you. Religion has not made this planet better. It is savage, naked ape tribal stuff undermining our way to becoming more refined beings. The GOP Trumpist maggots are showing that they know the truth of what they are doing. They protest too much about our knowledge that they are concentrating and oppressing migrants at our southern border. I will go right in yours and their faces and say, shame on you for again bringing concentration camps to our free and open country. If we stop you now, we can prevent the extermination camps from coming. And they will. If we got that Trump in here, they'll come. You are now included on my mailing list for my Do-Rag Wisdom YouTube broadcast. If you don't want to receive my broadcast, you can request my taking you off my mailing list. Too bad I can't get off your list because you are wealthy enough to have your crap-filled ads in our newspaper as many times as you wish, and not with my blood money. P.S. I am 68 plus, so I've been around the block and know bullshit when I see it, and when I smell it. You reek of it. F Trump and his Nazi Trumpists.